Tell me your vision for the thrift store and how did that vision turn out to be reality?
Okay, well, I had been thinking about the need for a thrift store in the community for a while, like several years probably, but kind of in a waiting pattern because I didn't have anyone to take charge of that operation or even a location available. But I saw it as a need in the community and something that just a second location that could become a blessing to people. How did it become a reality? Was that the other question? Um, well, surprisingly, it was just sort of settled into the back of my brain in the waiting pattern. And then in the fall of 19, I'm pretty sure, we had a storytelling festival at Graves Grocery for the bicentennial for the state of Alabama. And at the storytelling festival, I met Lisa, who is from the Lacey Spring area. And I invited her to Mom Heart one day. I shared my heart about the thrift store, and it was almost like Lisa just sort of came alive. She said, something I've always wanted to do, or I would love that opportunity. So I just asked, why don't you start looking for spaces?
Tell me where the thrift store is located and like the history of that building.
Okay, the thrift store is located at 1773 Highway 231 South in Lacey Spring. You will see Lipscomb Cemetery on the right, and there's a white building, and that was always known to me as Liberty Baptist Church. It was actually the last church my grandfather pastored. There are lots of special memories for myself and my family there. The way that the church became available to us to use was really just very miraculous. We were looking at another place, and at our very first fundraiser, an old friend of my family, Brother Willis Reagan, happened to pop into the concert. I guess I shouldn't really even say that happened, because in talking to him later on, he made it very clear he really knew God was directing him there that night. And the conversation came up about the old church. All weekend long, it just nagged at me. So I just kept inquiring from the Lord, what is this? I sense the Holy Spirit saying, I'm giving you this building. I need you to call this gentleman. So that's exactly what I did. And that began the snowball of, it belongs to the community. It's always belonged to the community. And we would love for something good to happen there. So we basically the building has been shared with us for the purpose of the thrift store.
How much did you have to do to turn the church into the thrift store?
Well, I can't say that I did a ton, but others did a huge amount of work. There had been kind of like a couple of squatters that had lived there in the church, but it had been empty for a couple of years. But they had left a big mess. So we had to basically remove every single thing from the church and then sort of start over from there. To build it back into something beautiful.
So, what's the next big thing for River of Life?
The very first thing is an acre of land that is owned by my family that's been entrusted to us as a nonprofit to use for ministry purposes. So we are currently trying to clear out a couple of spots on that land for possibly some transitional living for women in the community in need. We're not 100% sure that that's the the exact route we're going to go. But there is a need for that, and there's an opportunity for that. And so we're just sort of pressing on doors for that to see if that's the way the Lord would like for us to use the property. And my heart is to have a little cottage type inn or a boutique inn, maybe 10 to 12 rooms, that would also just provide a place of respite for people who needed a place to stay. That would be a place of beauty. I was listening today that beauty is the answer for boredom. And so that's always been my heart, wherever I am or whatever I'm doing, in some way to try to bring some beauty there so that it would just bless the heart of another person. So there we have it.